Hey everybody, Go 7, King of the Penguins here with our very first custom CO tournament replay. This is played between SorbianSwitzerland playing as Marissa here. We can actually look at the CO. Marissa L. Her naval units get plus 10% firepower and defense and have a special lower price, which is about 2,000 less. Her units with tread movement type get plus 10% defense, and her air units get minus 10% firepower and defense. So she's got slightly durable tanks, which is very good, and anti-air. And the like. Really artillery too. Her normal power only costs 2 stars. It's treads enhance. All allied navals on the battlefield get a permanent naval/treaded movement, shown with an icon, allowing them to move on land like tanks. All units with treads get +1 movement. So that does mean that if she has a battleship already, for instance, it can now move on land permanently, which is very good. And then her super is out of land push. All units get plus 15% firepower and defense, which is increased to 25% when they're in battle against a vehicle. All factories and ports can build hybrid naval units, and hybrid naval units are exactly what her normal power does to pre-existing naval units. So she can then permanently build boats from her bases, and they will have tread movement, which is very, very strong. So most of her CO powerness, her customness will come about once her super is activated. And then she can pull off some really, really cool shenanigans. So that's who SorbianSwitzerland's playing. And then the other opponent is Coolmc2222. Quite the name. And they're playing as Cadenza. Each time Cadenza's units attack, their firepower changes in the following sequence. First attack of the turn is minus 10%. Second attack is just the normal 100%. Third attack is plus 10%, and the fourth attack is plus 30%, and then that cycles. So, your first attack that you do with anything is at minus 10%, the second is 100%, and then you do plus 10%, and then you do plus 30%, and then the fifth attack for that turn is back to minus 10%, and then that'll just keep cycling again and again. It makes you really go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 will always be that big swing. And then her normal power changes this firepower sequence to just the 100% as the first attack, and then plus 20%, and then plus 40%, and then plus 60% on that fourth swing, which is huge. It's really big damage. And that for her super, it's the exact same thing as this, but instead of this plus 60% on the fourth hit, it is just auto kill if the target is at less or equal value to the attacker currently. So if you've reduced health, your current value of the unit goes down, and that can open up some more opportunities for one-shots. So that can be very fun and exciting to play. And we'll see how the players end up utilizing their custom COs here. This map is Rivendell. It has a very contested center. It has kind of blocked off comm towers that you have to access either through a pipe seam or being transported across the water. It has airports in the corners here, and the HQs are kind of on their lonesome off in these corners. The closest base to them has a kind of awkward reinforcement route to them, so HQ caps are very, very possible on this map. Usually you're going to see a lot of fighting over the center though. And we'll see how the players go about that. I think I'll put this on autoplay as we see. Okay, here we go. We'll just put this on autoplay. Okay. So on the bottom right here, Sorbian is not prioritizing the center. Well, Coolmc is. And went for the side before going to the center over here, which should let Sorbian get this capture pretty easily. And actually, Sorbian went very hard on the left side here for the central control with these infantry, while being very lackluster on the right-hand side. So we might be seeing a lot of investment over here to try and pressure out Coolmc from the left. Well, Coolmc has already built a tank on the right-hand side, so we might see them just kind of swap sides completely here for the general center control, and that does seem to be what's happening. Coolmc does have an airport now. Ooh, it actually attacked over here. I'm not a huge fan of that. The tank coming up from Sorbian is going to be able to lock this down, and this capture is going to happen no problem. And then this won't be able to stop this capture because poor Cadenza has minus 10% attack on that first attack for every turn. So this is a weaker infantry. So it's not going to be able to actually stop this capture. Yeah, so this is knocked down to 4, but it only needs it has resistance 3. So Sorbian can just finish that and then kill off this infantry with the tank. Or down here, there hasn't been any tanks built by Sorbian to defend this. So, oh, actually decides not to finish this capture, instead go in for an interrupt. I don't like that. Definitely would prefer to take that capture. You need a tank over here though, because otherwise Coolmc is just going to feast. A mech is a little too slow. We do have triple tank over here, so they are kind of just going to be swapping these sides while they both have a single infantry heading off each other from going for the HQs right away. Yeah, okay. So no one has a battle copter or a transport copter yet. But the harassment on the right-hand side from Coolmc is putting so much pressure on Sorbian, and there hasn't been a very good response. On the other side, but over here, yeah, this tank just gets wiped out. This city gets flipped. Sorbian's looking really, really good over here. Just needs to start actually buying some more units on this right-hand side. Okay, there we have a tank. We have a tank. And we have an anti-air. This is a prophylactic anti-air. There hasn't been a battlecopter built yet for Coolmc, who has been a little more restrained on their weaker side in comparison to Sorbian here, who now has a battlecopter. Now remember, Marissa's battlecopters have minus 10% attack and defense, so I wouldn't want to invest too heavily in those. But does nicely clean up on this left side, leaving another property vulnerable to capture, and then sent this tank from the base up here to head off this anti-air. But then that means there's nothing actually defending these infantries. Those are some more pickoffs that we can probably see Coolmc go for. Ooh, Coolmc does start moving out into the center here. I guess there are a decent number of vehicles, and it's covered by a mech, so that looks pretty safe. Really nice recon find. Clearing out the middle from Sorbian, who does have very nice control over these sides here. Just, I would like to see something more, a bigger investment on the right-hand side here. I am amazed that did not get the kill, but that's just because they don't have this comm tower yet. So this infantry manages to survive against the anti-air. Ooh, okay, so I mean the tank's diving in here. I can see the idea to try and protect this anti-air because there is now a battlecopter, but this did leave this tank vulnerable to this mech strike, which you really don't want to do. Ooh, okay, so Cadenza's finding an attack down here, but that's actually covered by this tank, so not nearly as safe as usual, as it usually has been over here. Okay, this tank does get taken out. That one takes a beating as well. Anti-air is fine, so we can kind of back up and continue to zone against this battlecopter. Ooh, goes in, finishes off that infantry. I don't know why this tank is diving on up here. There's an interrupt it could go for, it could fall back and help protect around this base that has been having some serious issues when it comes to fighting and defending this area. Okay, the anti-air decides to zoom over here, put some pressure in the middle, then fall back with these tanks. Okay. One health tank gets picked off. Well, since this anti-air went over to the middle, Coolmc's striking on the left-hand side of this battlecopter, noticing the lack of coverage over there. While also attacking over here, no fear of the battlecopter and the mech. Oh, there's a tank over here that can hit the mech. That'll kind of ruin Sorbian's plans for defending over here. Yep, there we go. There is still a battlecopter, and I think the battlecopter plus the tank and the mech could kill this guy, but it doesn't seem worth it. Okay, that's a lot of pressure over by this HQ. This isn't injured infantry though, so it does give Coolmc some time to respond if Sorbian starts walking towards it right away. Down here, the tank just sits by the 8 health tank. That's very vulnerable. Battlecopters, double battlecopters. Marissa does have those weakened ones, so I don't like those investments over like getting a medium tank or something that would be able to hold this line. Coolmc is now pressing out into this left-hand side, which Sorbian did have under control for so long. I guess these units moved over to the middle. Maybe with the idea to come over here and save this weakened side. That city never got captured. Oh, Sorbian now is activating the super, which will now unlock the ability to build naval units from the bases with treads, as well as make the vehicles extra strong in fighting other vehicles. Like so. Very nice. Double anti-air. They're coming for this battlecopter. We have the comm tower being captured. And we see a little blocker set up here to try and protect this infantry. But Coolmc goes for the super of their own. And this does mean that every 4th attack will have that. So here's 1 attack. Okay, 1. There's 2. Here's 3. So this next attack will just one-shot. If it's equal or lesser, like so. Bam. 4. And then 1. 2. What is it? Neo tank over here. 3. And then 4. One shot. So that's, you can kind of see how that works and how planning that out is very effective. Decides to go for the mech strike here. I just hit that with a Neo tank. And because the Neo tank will just one shot that. The Neo tank goes up here. I don't like that. The Neo tank has so many really nice targets over here to take out. Spunky looking artillery. Ooh, the anti-airs are scared of these tanks, which makes sense. There's another battlecopter built. I think Marissa should start investing more in those naval units that have now been unlocked on the bases. Because a battleship is really hard to deal with if all you have is tanks, because they just do very little damage. Ooh, but Cadenza has a bomber built, probably in anticipation of a battleship. That will definitely ruin their day, especially if it gets one of the strong hits on Cadenza's turn. Well, we still have this Neo tank over here, though. Maybe the bomber is built for this Neo tank, which is now going to go take out an anti-air. Very nice. We do have a capture here, which unfortunately is going to go through, which should put, let's see, Sorbian's at 21 K income right now. We'll see what Cadenza's at on their turn. They're currently at 18, but this is going to make it 19 to 20. Much better. Oh, now they're both at 20, so it's now tied up. Very nice. And there's still a lot of harassment that's been going on. And there are 2 anti-airs here to deal with this this bomber, but it can always be risky to try and fight a bomber, especially on this map with anti-air, because there's a lot of mountains and lakes and everything that gets in the way. But as battlecopters come over here, so a fighter would make sense to me to deal with this bomber, or you could even try and get a carrier if you wanted. We have another battle. So many battlecopters. Really would like to see some of those naval units with treads being built. It is what Marissa's kind of known for, or like designed for, and they're very, very strong. It'll help a lot with dealing with the Cadenza's 1, 2, 3, 4 attack pattern, which can be absolutely devastating when those 4 attacks start landing. Okay, we get the A3. So even with the weaker battlecopters, they still do a decent amount of damage against other battlecopters, because that's just how battlecopters are. The bomber's way down here. So against the bomber, you do need to have at least 2 anti-airs if you're going to use anti-airs to fight them. And you have to make sure that the anti-airs are always covering each other, so the bomber can't just one-shot them. It's kind of sneaking around over here. There might be some tactics to trap in this bomber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it's just out of range of being completely trapped in here, which would spell the end of the bomber. You can always build a fighter if you're having trouble killing off a bomber. We almost have another super here for Sorbian and Cadenza. For Coolmc. Coolmc. Lots of battlecopters. Usually I'd approve of a lot of battlecopters, but when they're weaker battlecopters, I don't think that's quite the right thing to do. Okay, we have the super come out for Cadenza. We'll have to count this out with the attacks. So 1. It's not a very favorable attack. It's okay. Well, it's fine. 1, 2. I probably would have done infantry first. 3. Oh, nice. And then the other anti-air one-shots the other one. So now this bomber's completely, not completely, but mostly uncontested. Just an injured anti-air to try and hurt it. There's 1, 2. Looks like that's it. So the super was mainly about getting the anti-air. But that worked out great. Then Mercy uses the super again. So these units... Oh! There was a cruiser built. You can see it has a little frog icon. It moved out from this harbor, and now it's sitting on the HQ. A cruiser that can go on land can threaten bombers, although they're still pretty vulnerable to being beat up by air units. Here we go. The Neo tank comes on in, takes out that infantry. The Neo tank almost one-shots that medium tank. Very nice. I don't like that battlecopter placement because this anti-air can just one-shot it. But this is a live game, so those kind of mistakes will just kind of happen. It's inevitable. Oh my gosh, 23k. That means that Coolmc is going to be up by quite a bit of income here. Some very strong attacks. Although the 7-7 trade, that's just Marissa's super working very well for the tank there. Where are we at? 18, 23 to 18. Sorbian is down by 5k income. These Neo tanks have started to get some nice damage though. That can help make up for some of those the loss of money. And we have a fighter built to deal with the rest of this bomber, so it can't just take out these Neo tanks. Coolmc just has a chain of medium tanks heading off into this corner. We have the cruiser moving up here. I think it might have killed a battlecopter there. The bomber harasses some more infantry. It has 4 shots left and 29 fuel. Okay, we just have a defensive posture here with an artillery guarding these vehicles. Anti-air comes in to finish off an infantry. And then the tank attacks. And I imagine this anti-air is going to come back and hit one of these copters. Give a lot of damage. Yeah, minus 10% defense will do that to you. Still up so much money. Oh, we're actually down to 17k right now for Sorbian. There's some infantry here, but they're not getting any captures currently, which is not good. Okay. Tanks are focusing down the anti-air, which I understand because there's been quite a strong air presence here from Marissa. The cruiser has moved up. It's now threatening this battlecopter, as you'd like to see. And we have another tank built, another battlecopter. So usually the battlecopters being built is for like unit count and forcing your opponent to build anti-airs to answer them. But really would like to see more of the naval units. Like a battleship would be really good. Like look at all these really juicy targets that also don't hit the battleship for very much, except for this artillery. For some reason, it attacks this Neo tank with a 1 health infantry. That might have been a mistake. Okay. Oh, Sorbian's going for the normal power, so this will give +1 move to all of the treaded units. Oh, it barely stops that capture. Oh, it goes for the infantry pickoff rather than finishing up this capture, which is fine. Okay, moves back with the cruiser and the fighter coming after this bomber. Okay, I'm not quite sure why the normal power got used there, but that's okay. Ooh, moved right into range of the mech. Very painful. The bomber decides not to try and run away from the fighter, just try and get some damage done before being taken out. Things come in here, get a good swing. Infantry gets struck on the right hand side, get taken out. The Neo tank should be enough to kind of hold this off, but the artillery can push back the Neo tank, so looking pretty good for Coolmc. Still up 24 income, or 24 properties. Oh no, the cruiser's being attacked. So durable. Medium tank did just shy of 2 damage to it. So if nothing else, is going to serve as a very nice wall. Although it looks like it can kill this battlecopter this turn. Assuming this dies. Yep, there it goes. It's still on water. And then the fighter takes out the bomber. So a very good turn for Sorbian. Currently at 17k income. 17k money. So no battleship available unless they save up a lot of cash this turn. Which I think they really need to do. This is a lot of pressure happening over here. Neo tank doesn't need to run though. The Neo tank should definitely attack over here. It doesn't need to be scared of these medium tanks. Although maybe it does, because Cadenza does have the super here. Now, while the Neo tank is more expensive than a medium tank, if it gets injured too much, it will no longer be, and it will just be one-shotted. So that was 1 attack, 2 attack. Medium tank is used for attack number 3. What's this 4th attack going to be? The medium tank is one-shot a copter. Used the tank to one-shot an infantry. I don't like that one. That's okay. Yeah, 1 attack. I don't think there's going to be another one. So not the best Cadenza super. But that's okay. And then the Neo tank starts moving back now that the super is no longer threatening. The transport copters be zooming on up here. Oh, there's a Neo tank for Cadenza. Anti-air takes out this infantry. We have this cruiser just sitting on this city. It doesn't heal on cities. I think it would only heal on the harbor. Another property being threatened by Coolmc. Oh my gosh, and trying to dive in on this base. It does have a Neo tank guarding it, so I'd be a little bit worried about trying to go for that. And then the cruiser gets hit by the medium tank. It's gonna lose a hit point from this tank. It's holding strong. Infantry being really annoying, standing in the way. Looks like the transport copter ran out of fuel. Okay. Sorbian is getting another property here, which is good. It does stop this property from being captured, and I imagine these Neo tanks are going to come in here, do a ton of damage. Oh my gosh. That's so much. And then I guess this Neo tank is just going to attack from the base and just take out this medium tank. Great defense from Sorbian. The Neo tank's really showing how strong they are. Oh, and we have a battleship. It was built last turn from this harbor, sitting on this city. So that's guarding this, or zoning this entire area up here. Coolmc decides to fall back, very wise, has a rocket to deal with these Neo tanks. Anti-air's diving in here, still going after this cruiser. Oh, the cruiser barely holds on after the Neo tank strike. But this is happening within this battleship range, so I imagine, yeah, this is going to fire on the medium tank. It's not worth going after the cruiser if you get shot by a battleship, for sure. Must not have quite have seen that, though. It's okay. We have battlecopter finishes off that medium tank. Ooh, okay. We have the normal power used here, so just for the movement, because the super doesn't give you movement, but it does give you better stats when fighting the vehicles there. Decides not to try and interrupt this capture. I don't like that. I don't want to just give Coolmc another property, because right now Sorbian's been having some really good fights with like the Neo tanks beating up some medium tanks, but it's just so far behind in income that there's no way to make headway unless Coolmc really blunders a lot of units. I mean, there is the battleship, and that can hold down this HQ area very nicely. Okay, this is attacking in... That's only a 4 health artillery, so it's totally fine. And it's not even here anymore. Goodbye. Battlecopter has taken it out. Cruiser's on its way back to the harbor. Oh, we have another battleship built. So this is here. This is what I like to see. We have a battleship in a nice position in this lake, and then another battleship built to help hold down this front. There goes that copter that went after the artillery. It says 1, that's 2. This is 3. The 4th attack is going to one-shot something. Or just do a ton of damage. It won't one-shot the battleship, but it did do 4 from a battlecopter. And it won't one-shot that because the battleship costs more. A lot of pressure moving down towards this HQ, but there's no infantry with it. In fact, both players are really short on infantry. So that bodes very well for Coolmc, as we're getting kind of close to... This is next day 29. Oh my gosh, we're almost at the end. This is a 30-day limit. So at this point, I think it's actually impossible for Coolmc to lose, because once they reach the day 30, the game should end, and the winner will be the person who has the most properties. So this is day 29. We're almost at the end. Coolmc is still harassing, making sure to focus down these infantry. Really did a really good job getting all of these captures at 25k income. Kills off the Neo tank, had the rocket to help. Or is in position to help at least, and the anti-air takes out this infantry. Oh my gosh. This Neo tank is kind of isolated. There is... Oh, and it gets hit by a medium tank. Then we have the battleship over here. So it's going to get a shot off, but all of its support units have been taken out. Oh my, this is looking very much GG. Coolmc storming on in, making sure to take out as many infantry as possible and get any pot shots as that they can. This is the last turn, next day 30. Maybe next turn's the last turn. The battleship got a shot. We have this injured battleship. Fires on the Neo tank. Oh, we pick up the infantry. Move back. We still have the cruiser still alive. Okay, this must be the last turn. Down goes the recon. There is one infantry trying to make a run for the HQ at this point. But Coolmc just has too much of a lock on the area. Sorbian's putting up a valiant fight. You can see how difficult it is to take out these battleships when you're just using the ground vehicles, the ground direct vehicles. The rockets can fight them. The air units can fight them. Yeah, the battleship's hiding out over here. This fighter got to kill its bomber, and then it sadly didn't get much more use after that. What you can do with the fighter is use it as a very nice blocker. Okay, there was one property being gone for here, so Sorbian's still putting up a little fight till the very end, and everything explodes, and that's game over. Coolmc is going to be the victor there, as they did win by day limit and the number of captures. So GG. It was very fun to see the cruiser running around. It was so durable, and we had some really nice one-hit KOs used like over here to protect the HQ by Coolmc playing Cadenza. So that was a great first game. Went all the way to day limit, and well played to both players. GG.